Good evening. I just wanted to give a quick tip to something I run into often, which is when I am working on a large scene, these safe areas on the top and bottom make it hard to frame my composition when I'm setting a camera. And it can be very frustrating. A lot of times people reframe their work area to fit the aspect ratio of what they're rendering in. But what I like to do is turn off the safe area entirely. As you know, under filter, in the upper left corner, you can turn off your work plane to help you when modeling, and you can turn off world axis. There's the horizon line, which sometimes I usually leave on just for a little sense of space. But one thing you can't turn off is the safe area. And I get a lot of questions about how to turn that off. Now, you would think that going under preferences and going to interface that you would find it here, but nowhere on here lists safe area. And then they will go to project settings, Command D, and they will go through all of these tabs looking for where to toggle off the safe area. Well, it's actually in a really weird spot. The trick is to go to View, Configure. The shortcut that I hit is Shift V. So when I'm modeling a scene, I just hit Shift V, and that takes you to this Viewport window. And the Viewport window is actually the settings for this specific perspective window. And you can actually retitle these windows to be anything you want. And this actually takes you to the second tab here is filter, which is the same thing as this filter up here. So you have your work plane, your HUD, your work axis. You can turn your horizon and your world grid on and off. But there's a third tab here called safe frames. And this is actually where you toggle on and off your safe frames. So I'm going to go back into this and I'll turn off my safe frames, and now regardless of the ratio of our window, we can work within our scene without being annoyed by these black bars. This is especially helpful when you have your asset browser pulled out, so you can still work without being distracted by these black bars here. So with safe frames on, I'll turn off the tint, and this is nice because it still leaves two white lines for your composition, just as a guide, but you can turn that completely off as well. And you notice you also have title safe and action safe, which can be helpful too. So if you're working for television or something, you can actually set an area to allow for space for captions and things like that. Reset. You can reset with right click. Now, the opposite problem happens when I actually do want to frame up my shot and I don't want to see anything out here. So what's great is that you can adjust the opacity of your safe area. So you can just have like a little bit of a tint, or even have it completely blacked out, so that you can really frame up your shot to get, your camera positioned exactly where you want. And you can actually change the color of that safe area as well. What I often do when I'm working with coloring and lighting, I'll switch between a white safe area and a gray area and a black gray area. And this way I can get a preview of how it would look like on a website or on Vimeo or something with a light interface like Instagram. You can also have preset swatches in here and dial that into a specific hex code if you want. So that's it. That's my quick tip for today. If you want more tips like this, just click subscribe, and if you have any other questions, just let me know.